You know that feeling, right? That heart in your throat moment when you get a call about a family emergency and you're at work? Today, we're going to break down something super important in South African labor law that's literally made for those moments. It's called family responsibility leave. Let's dive right in.
So, let's say it happens. The phone rings. It's that call, a family emergency. Your head is spinning, you're worried sick, and the absolute last thing you need on your plate is stressing about your job. So, what can you actually do? What are your rights in that moment? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out.
Okay, first things first, and this is super important. Family responsibility leave, we'll just call it FRL, is not some nice little favor from your boss. Nope. It's your legal right. It's written right there in the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, and it's there to give you short, paid leave when life, throws a curveball.
Right, so who actually gets this? Is it for everyone? The first thing we got to do is check if you qualify. Don't worry, it's a really simple checklist. It's basically just 2 quick questions. Ready? Number 1, have you been working for your current company for more than 4 months straight? And number 2, do you work there more than 4 days a week? If you're nodding your head yes to both of those, then boom, you're covered.
And here's the big number you need to know. 3. You get 3 fully paid days of this leave for every annual leave cycle. That's right, 3 whole days where you can just focus on what's important, your family, and not have to stress about losing a day's pay.
Okay, so you qualify, you've got your 3 days ready to go. Awesome, but, and this is a big but, you can't just use this leave whenever you feel like it. The law is super specific about the situations where it counts. So let's get into exactly what those are. All right, reason number 1, and probably the one that comes up most often, your child is sick. This usually means a child under the age of 18. So if your little one is unwell and needs you at home, that is a perfectly valid reason to use this leave.
The second situation is, well, it's a tough one. It's for when there's a death in your immediate family. And again, the law is very, very clear about who counts as immediate family here. We're talking about your spouse or life partner, a parent or an adoptive parent, a grandparent, a child or adopted child, a grandchild, or a sibling.
Now, I really want to stress this point. That list is it. It's not up for debate. The law is black and white on this. If the person isn't on that specific list, then unfortunately, it's not covered by family responsibility leave. It's tough, but that's how the rule is written.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty details. The practical stuff, like how does the pay work? What kind of proof do you need? And, what happens if you run out of days?
I'm going to say this again because it is so important. This is paid leave. When you take one of these days, you get paid your full normal salary. No funny business, no deductions. Full stop.
So, can your boss just take your word for it? Well, they are allowed to ask for reasonable proof. For a sick kid, this usually just means a note from the doctor. In the case of a death, it might be a copy of the death certificate or a letter from the funeral home. This is totally standard, so don't be surprised if they ask for it.
All right, here's another key detail you absolutely have to remember. These days do not roll over. It's a classic use it or lose it deal. When your next annual leave cycle kicks in, your counter resets to a fresh 3 days. So it's a really good idea to know exactly when your company's leave cycle starts and ends.
But what happens if you've had a really tough year and you've already used up your 3 days? What then? Well, you've got a couple of options. You could apply to use some of your annual leave. You could also take unpaid leave. And some companies have their own policies for special or discretionary leave, so it's always worth checking your contract.
Okay, this next part is all about knowing your rights and standing up for them. We're going to bust some really common myths and make sure you have the info you need to handle those, let's say, tricky conversations with your employer. Have you ever heard this one? Oh, just take an annual leave day for that. Yeah, no, that is not how this is supposed to work. If your situation fits the bill for FRL and you've got days left, that is the leave you are meant to use. Your employer cannot, I repeat, cannot force you to use your annual leave first. Here's another one I hear a lot. The idea that you have to prove you're the only person who can look after your sick child, that's just not true. The law doesn't say anything about that. It's your right to be the one to care for your child, end of story.
So, the million-dollar question. Can your boss just flat out say no? The answer is simple. No. Not if your reason is valid, not if it's on that list we talked about, and not if you've provided proof. They cannot legally deny your request.
And there you have it. That's the lowdown on family responsibility leave in South Africa. Hopefully, you're feeling a bit more confident and empowered now. It's all about knowing your rights, right? So, what's next? What other part of labor law or work rights has you scratching your head? Let us know. We'd love to tackle it in our next explainer.